I welcome you all to a very important topic, and the topic name which you can see is Inequalities, Quick and Effective Lesson. This is important for SAT, GMAT and GRE. So friends, we will just go to the topic. So friends, we know that the basic concept is this. Before discussing the basic concept, I will like to draw your attention that why inequality we commit mistakes, why in inequality questions we commit mistakes. The common reason what I've seen by teaching students is that they think that equations and inequality are one and the same. Yes, they are quite similar, friends, but they are not one and the same. So we'll now go to the session directly. Inequality compares two halves. Oh, sorry, I just repeat it again. An inequality compares two values and shows the relative size. The common inequality symbols are as below. See, these are the common below. What is this? A is less than B. This sign indicates A is less than B. This is A is greater than B. Just a recap of the school things. The third one indicates A is less than or equal to. Means it can be less than as well as it can be equal to B. This is about the first quantity and the second quantity. Here this A is either greater than or equal to B. These are all school stuff. Just recapping it. Now, what are the rules? Rules for solving inequality questions are this. Okay, friends. So the rules is addition and subtraction. You can add or subtract the same numbers on both the sides, same as what we are doing in the equation. Fine. So you just, for example, it is say x minus 3 is less than 5. So what you do if this is an equation, x minus 3 is equal to 5. So for finding the value of x, what we will do, we will add 3 to both the sides. So this becomes 5 plus 3. So this and this cancel, we get x as 8. Same thing we will do it here. Addition and subtraction, we will get finally x should be less than 8. Fine. This will solve our inequality. Multiplication and division by a positive number, there will be no sign change. Like 3x example is given is should be greater than 12. So what we will do if will to solve this inequality, or if it was equation, we will divide both the sides by 3 so that we get the coefficient, we get rid of this coefficient of x. So we will divide it here 3, we'll divide it here 3. So we get rid of this coefficient, we get simply x. X should be greater than this cuts, and we get x should be greater than 4. Fine. Up to this point is clear. Here is the reason for committing error. Multiplication and division by a negative number, we have to flip the inequality sign. Now you take this example. Minus 2x should be greater than 6. Now to get rid of this coefficient of x, that is minus 2 here, what we have to do? We have to divide both the sides by minus 2. Minus 2x divided by minus 2. Now wait for this sign, 6 divided by minus 2. Since we are dividing by a negative number, what was the original sign? So this side was greater. Flip it to make it like this. Now this side will become smaller. So what will happen eventually? You will get rid of this minus 2. You will get simply an x. Since minus is in the denominator, it will go to the numerator. You will get minus 3. So what does it mean? For getting the values which will satisfy this inequality, x should be less than minus 3. What values will be there? If we take the integral values, it can be minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, and so on up to minus infinity. But it cannot be minus 2. You see, if we take minus 2 here, if we put it minus 2 in place of x, so what we get? Minus 2 is this. Minus 2, just we are giving it a check. Minus 2 multiplied by minus 2. So why? Because it is minus 2 is bigger than minus 3. We are putting a wrong value, and to check that is it should not satisfy. We get 4. Is 4 greater than 6? No. But if you take any value, because you got x should be less than -3. So if you put any value less than -3, integral value, so suppose let's put -4. So -2 x. So we get -2 multiplied by -4. So what happens? It minus minus becomes positive, and you see this is side is 6. So yes, the inequality is solved. So see what happened here while solving, as we were dividing by -2, we flipped the sign from greater than to smaller than. So what we got eventually as our answer in this inequality is x should be smaller than -3. Very vital, very important. Further, we will take up more examples and we'll see. But this is one of the common mistakes. So just what I was saying in the previous slide, common mistakes to avoid: forgetting to flip the sign when multiplying or dividing by a negative number. And why this happens? Because in equation, suppose we have, let me take the pen, yeah. Suppose we have -3x is equal to, say, 6. So if we divide here -3, equation sign will remain the same. But suppose we divide by -3, just to get rid of here also -3. So what we get? X is equal to -2. Okay, is equal to sign. So there is, the sign is same, means there is no change in the sign. We get the value of x. But if we take same as inequality, -3x should be greater than 6. If this is the inequality. And so to get rid of this -3, we will again divide by -3. Here also -3. Now since we are dividing by negative number, we have to flip this greater than sign to smaller than sign. So what we get eventually is -3 and -3 gets, we are getting rid of this. We get x should be less than -2. Okay, x should be less than -2 should be your answer. Here, so if you can put any value in this, our this original inequality what we have selected is -3 should x should be greater than 6. So any value, integral value, if we take, say take -3. -3 we put instead of x. What we get? -3 into substitute x by -3 and 6. So we get 9 here, minus and minus becomes positive. We get is greater than 6. Fine. So inequality is solved. Other values also you can put, and then you will see you have got the right answer after flipping the inequality sign. So I think now it is flipping the inequality sign is quite clear. Now we go to the practice questions. These are the few practice questions. These are from the easier level. First you try with this, then we will solve a GMAT level question also. Fine. So you can pause my video here and then you solve yourself all these 3 questions. After that, for checking your answer as well as your method, you may continue with my video. Now I am going ahead with the first question. What was the first question? Let's take the first question from here. So it was 5x minus 7 should be greater than or equal to 18. 5x minus 7 should be greater than or equal to 18. Fine. This was the question. Let us check it again. Yeah, this question we have taken it correctly here. So what we will have to do, same like equation, we will add first 7 to get rid of this 7 from this side of the inequality. So what we get? 5x minus 7 plus 7 should be greater than, since we are adding and subtracting, so there is no flip of the sign. So this we are removing. 5x should be greater than or equal to 25. Fine. Now for getting rid of this 5, we have to divide both the sides by 5. Divide both the sides by 5. Since we are dividing by 5, which is a positive number, so there is no change in the sign or the flip of this sign. So what we get this side? X should be greater than or equal to 5 here. X should be greater than and equal to 5 is your answer. Fine. Since there was no flipping, because as the reason for there was no flipping, because we never divided with a negative number or multiplied with a negative number. Let's see what is there in the question 2. Okay, question 2 is in front of you. Minus 3y should be less than 12. Okay. So what is the range of y? So see here we are already solved question like this. So what we have to do is divide by minus 3 is a negative number. Minus 3. So this sign, sorry, this particular sign or this sign will be flipped to this side. Okay. 12 divided by minus 3. This sign will be flipped here. Because why? Negative number we are dividing. So we get y should be greater than this minus goes to the numerator should be greater than minus 4. So any value suggest me with greater than minus 4, we should always check our inequality. So any value, let's take an example. Suppose we take minus 3 or minus 2. Let's take minus 3 here. What we get? Minus 3 in place of y, we put it as minus 3. Let's examine. So we have kept it blank here. So we get 9 here, which is actually less than 12. So this inequality is solved. Same with minus 2 or any value. So the range will be y should be greater than minus 4. That's it. Okay. So we solved this thing whereby we had to flip again the this inequality sign. Now we go to a GMAT level question. As I told you, GMAT level question is in front of you. X square minus 9x plus 14. This is a quadratic equation. Should be less than and equal to 0. What are the possible values for x? So friends, you try to solve this question and then we will see that how it is to be solved. Okay, friends, pause my video here. So try to solve yourself and then check with my answer. So I take my pen again. As you know, by splitting the middle term, we get, I'm not going how it is to be solved. We get if this is a quadratic equation, if it is equal to 0. So in quadratic equation, in place of this inequality sign, you have put it 0. So what you get the solution set, x should be equal to 7 or x should be equal to 2. Means then this quadratic equation x square minus 9x plus 14 is equal to 0 is satisfied. If you put 2 or 7, 2 or 7 if you put, you will get this side as 0, this which is already the right hand side is 0. So this is the solution set of the quadratic equation. Yes, I know that you know how to solve the equation, quadratic equation. But now how to solve this inequality? See, now if you see number line, I just draw a number line 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and on. Here, this are negative signs, minus 1, minus 2. Where are your two solutions? One solution is here. The second solution is here. So if we take a interval of solutions, so what this interval represent? Your solution interval represents that is x is equal to either greater than means 3, 4 are greater or it is equal to 2 because 2 is also included. And here is the limiting factor 7 means it is either equal to 7 or any value on this side. So this is one interval, first interval. Second interval, all the numbers we are taking are anything which is less than 2 means this side. X is less than, fine. And this side is x is greater than 7. So now you see there are no other numbers. First case is this between your solution set and both the solutions included, 2 and 7 included, less than your smaller solution, less than your smaller solution. This is more than the bigger solution. So you cover the whole number line. Now what you have to do in this type of, I just take a new slide taken. Okay. So we'll again go with this question. as this slide is cluttered, that's why I'm doing this. Fine. Sorry. Okay. So this was our question. So we know that solution sets are 2 and 7 for this quadratic equation. Zeros or the solution set of this quadratic equation are 2 and x7, two solution set. Intervals we formed that x is greater than or equal to 2 and less than or equal to 7. This is first. The second one is x is less than 2. The third one is x is greater than 7. What are these? These are all the possible values. Now you put individually, if you put this 2 in this equation, you will get 0 since it is nothing but x minus 2 into x minus 7. If you put 2, so this will become 0. 0 multiplied by any number, you will get 0. So what happens? This side of the equation will become, when we are putting 2, so we are getting 0 here, which is satisfying the inequality because of the equal to sign is there. So 2 is satisfying, 2 is satisfying. Okay. Now you put any value more than 2. Suppose we put 3 in this. So because 3 will be here, the values are 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 included. 7 is also included. We tried with 2 and 7. We know we will get it, this side and that side, this side of the equation will be 0. So it will be satisfying. Let's see with other values. So what happens with 3? Suppose you put in place of x, you put 3, you get 3 squared, that is 9. 9 multiplied by 3 plus 14. So what you get? 9 minus, sorry, this is 14. 9, 3, 27 plus 14. So you see here, this is, you are going to get a negative value because 14 plus 9 is 23 minus 27. So finally you get minus 4. You got minus 4 this side. Is it less than 0? Yes, it is less than 0. So 3, which is a value in between our solution set 2 and 7, is also satisfying. So if one value is satisfying, then 4 will satisfy, 5 will satisfy, 6 will satisfy, 7 will satisfy, as we know, because it will give you 0. So your solution set will be between your inequality is solved when x takes any value between your two solutions or the zeros. So this is your answer, final answer. Okay. And if you in GMAT always try to check. Suppose we take any value beyond this. Suppose let's take x as 1 because x as 1 is not included in this interval, to just check if we have time. So in place of x, you put 1. You get 1 square is 1 minus 9 plus 14. What do you get? You get a minus 8 plus 14. So you get 14 is a bigger number, you get 6. So what happens with this inequality? 6 is a bigger number as it is a positive. So this is not satisfying since it has to be smaller than this sign should be there. So this is not satisfying. So any value beyond our solution set or lesser than 2 will not satisfy, or any value if you put bigger than 7 or say like 8 or 9, it will not satisfy. Why? Because we have checked with the values in between and they are satisfying. So our final answer is this. So not much of repetition. Okay. So what important things were there here? One, I'll just go to a recap, final recap. Multiplication, division by a negative number, flip the sign. That is something very much avoided. That is the main reason for committing mistakes. And then in GMAT questions, the level will be a bit higher. So you will see a quadratic equation whereby you have to test for the values with the solutions you get for the equation.